Does anybody else go outside at 17 weeks pregnant in -5-degree weather to pick potatoes to help work through difficult feelings? Or is it just me? Hey guys, it is Monday, November 8th. I turn 15 weeks pregnant tomorrow, so I guess we could call this my 15-week pregnancy update. I really don't have anything to report. I feel very normal. I feel like I'm back to myself. I have good energy. I'm back to having like regular Megan insomnia, regular Megan dreams. I mean, I really can't complain about any of that. And honestly, my insomnia is really being provoked by a lot of stress in my life, which we'll get into a little bit of it in a minute. But I'm doing this 30-day fitness challenge. I'm 8 days in. Everything is going great. I'm getting stronger and more confident in the gym. I'm increasing the weights in my lifts now that I've been able to kind of like feel my body out after such a long, inconsistent hiatus of lifting. I feel like last week when I went into the gym, I really dropped my weight down because I wasn't sure what my body could handle, to be honest. I haven't used my body in a strength capacity in so long that I wasn't sure how it had changed. But everything is going great. I have my programs written out. I feel like by next week, I'm going to be really in a good routine. I'm hitting my step count every day. I am getting my water intake in every day. I'm doing my yoga according to schedule. So that's good. I am not managing my stress, anxiety, and obsessive thoughts well at all. And that all is just stemming from this sword of Damocles hanging over my neck, waiting indefinitely for the blood results to come back from my NIPT test. If you have not watched my previous video, I would suggest you do so. I did the combined test where they do the nuchal translucency scan and a simple blood test that measures for two different things in the mom's blood. And they put that into a formula with your age, and then they spit out a risk. And low risk is the odds of your baby having, in my case, it's Down syndrome is what has been flagged. Low risk is 1 in 200 odds, and mine came back as 1 in 122. So it's not terrible. I've seen my ultrasound, and there are no markers on that ultrasound that were indicated to show that maybe physically my baby has Downs. So in theory, I should be able to just relax and wait for these blood test results and just trust that everything is very likely going to be okay. Like 99.2% odds that everything is going to be okay. But I am a control freak who has no patience and who is an insufferable, need to know it all type of person, and it's eating me alive, starting in my brain and then manifesting itself in my body. I couldn't sleep last night. I didn't fall asleep until like 2:30 in the morning. I tried meditating myself to sleep. I tried only thinking positive thoughts. I tried like doing the positive affirmations and positive manifestations, any like stupid little thing I could do in my head to try to get me over the anxiety, like minor anxiety attack I was having last night, and it didn't work. And I ended up Googling and just like looking at ultrasound pictures and reading medical journals and trying to research why my blood values may have been where they were to have caused my odds to be what they are. I need to get off of Google, and I can't. It's like a medical problem. I can't let go. And I know I'm not the only person who's like this, and I hate being this type of person. I hate being this type of spaz. but I would be completely lying if I said I wasn't anything other than this. And so that's why I wanted to film this little update, and I guess it's why I'm going to continue filming weekly pregnancy updates, even though I'm not really going to have anything to really update on other than maybe my fitness challenge progress, because I'm at that stage of early second trimester where I feel and look totally normal. I don't have any symptoms to report. I'll show you my bump in a second. It's not there. Nothing is really changing. It's just steady as she goes, except for the fact that I am only 6 days into a potentially 28-day wait to get my blood test results back, because they told me to just hope that my results will be back by November 30th. And I had my blood drawn on November 2nd. So that's my update for now. We'll just cut to the next week and see if there's any news. But let's do a bump shot because we're here. So that's the bump. I do have a bump. This is my 15-week baby number 3 bump. It's just not anything to write home about, you know? Like when I have my clothes on. I don't know, what would you guys say? Would you see me walking down the street and be like, oh yeah, she's for sure prego? I just look a little bloated and kind of like, I look period bloated. You can't even, try not to show the whole world my junk. Yeah, I guess you can't really tell. Anyway, not much of a change from last week. So that's that, and I am going to now tweeze because my eyebrows have gone straight up Jumanji. So stay tuned. Okay, it is Wednesday. I am 16 weeks and 1 day pregnant today. I have exactly 0 minutes to film this update. I have a sick kid at home. My husband thinks I'm still on a conference call right now, but anyone could walk into this room at any second. But wanted to just update you all really quickly. Wow, do I look haggard? At least I took care of my eyebrows. Right, quick pregnancy update. I can't do a bump date right now. I'll put some pictures over here, but I do definitely have a bump. It gets bigger at the end of the day. It's so full that I can't lay just flat on my belly on the bed anymore. It's too uncomfortable. I've been having crazy round ligament pains this pregnancy. They just seem to be so much more than they were in my previous 2 pregnancies. I'm still learning my body and trying to figure out what sets it off, but my body doesn't like sudden movements right now. And another thing that I find really interesting is that I'm peeing all the time, right? But if I wait and let my bladder get too full, when I finally go to the bathroom, this is the way I'm theorizing it. I think this is what's happening. If my bladder's really, really full and then suddenly goes empty, my uterus feels like it drops really quickly down into my pelvis. And I don't know if it's causing a type of round ligament pain or if it's a Braxton Hicks contraction, because it's actually very painless but extremely tight muscular contraction on the whole lower part of my belly. And it almost feels like my uterus freaks out that it's suddenly moving somewhere very quickly, and it just tightens up and seizes up. And so if I go too long between bathroom breaks and then I go to the bathroom, especially if I happen to like hunch over on the toilet instead of sitting up really upright with my belly lifted up, when I stand up afterwards, I have to literally bend over and wait a full minute, which is a really long time actually, for my belly to release because it just is tight as a rock. It feels like a Braxton Hicks. It just doesn't feel like my uterus is comfortable with how easily my body is moving right now. So there's that. My 30-day fitness challenge is going great right now. It doesn't feel like a challenge anymore. It just feels like I've gotten into my normal life. I feel very normal. I have normal amounts of steady energy. I just feel very normal. I have no like pregnancy woes or symptoms or anything to talk about other than that I now have a belly. And I like, you know, I can feel it and I see it. It's like I feel very pregnant in a sense that it's definitely there. Yesterday, I had my first dream of being pregnant. And what woke me up from that dream was my baby actually kicking me. So that was cool. And I feel the movements all in the same spot. I have to talk quietly. It feels like the baby just likes to hang out in my lower left hand side of my uterus because that's where I always find its heartbeat with the Doppler. That's where I feel all of like the pressure sensations when it's like moving or rolling or I guess stretching. I feel a lot of pushing in that spot. And that's where I feel the kicks and the jabs. I don't feel them anywhere else. So I don't know where my placenta currently is right now. But when I listen on the Doppler, I can hear that whoosh, whoosh, whoosh placenta sound on my left side too. So I don't know. I'm very interested to see where and how the baby is positioned once I get to my anatomy scan. But that's just like the quick update about what is going on. No news still on the NIPT results. Today is day 15 of the wait of a potential 28. So I'm like halfway through the wait, but this week is the first week where I feel like I potentially might get my results if I'm lucky by the end of this week, but hopefully by Thanksgiving, which is the end of next week. That's what I'm hoping for. But we're just going to have to wait and see. But honestly, this whole past week, I completely forgot about it. I haven't really thought about it at all. Like the first week was really hard because I was stressing out and I just was staring this huge weight down and like wanted answers. I wanted reassurance and everything. But the beauty of this wait is that it's given my husband and I time to really like come to peace and terms with all the various different outcomes and how we plan on taking the next steps depending on what the results are going to show. And really, like at the end of the day, it's not changing much about how we plan on proceeding with this pregnancy. So I feel comfortable that we've been given this time to think about it first and get on the same page. And we seem to both feel and think the same about it all. So now it's just the maddening wait. That is maddening, you know, like how frustrating it is to just not know definitively. And that I can live with that. You know, I hear my baby's heartbeat every day. I feel it moving and kicking. I see it growing. I know there is a healthy baby, like structurally healthy. At least I think there is in there right now. So I feel very much at peace with that. Now it's just that I want to have answers. And I have waited 15 days. And I still don't know. I could get the results tomorrow, or I might only be halfway through my wait. So I've got it set in my head that I'm hoping that by Thanksgiving, which is next Thursday, we will know for sure. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. So that's the update for now. Catch you guys in the next one. Another very quiet, super sketchy pregnancy update, but it is Monday, November 22nd. I am 16 weeks and 6 days pregnant. I turn 17 weeks tomorrow. Today is day 20 in waiting for my NIPT test results. Still haven't gotten them, of course. I mean, it's Monday morning. But I feel like this is the week that it actually could happen, that we could get them. Like by the end of the week, they could be coming through. In terms of pregnancy symptoms, I don't think I've had any to report, but the reason I'm whispering is because I am still home with an incredibly sick family. We just went and got COVID tested, my husband and I.
I think last week I said that I was home with a sick kid. My oldest, who's like strong as an ox, had a fever for 9 days. She still has a headache and sore throat, fatigue, lethargy, loss of appetite, really bad cough, really bad congestion. I actually took her to the urgent care on Friday of last week to see if she had an ear infection because her congestion was so bad that it was presenting in her ears. I also got my flu shot at that time because I've been hearing that flu is chaotic this year. So she did not have an ear infection and everything sounded good at the doctor's. Like, obviously he said she had really swollen tonsils and he could hear crackling and like mucus in her lungs when he listened. But she is fine. She just still has a really bad, like, juicy cough, headache, sore throat. I don't think she's had a fever for a day or two now. But 4 days ago, my 2-year-old then came down with it. And he's now on his 4th day of a really high rolling fever. Horrific cough. Terrible cough. It's a wet cough. So there is mucus. It's productive. It's not necessarily a dry cough, although sometimes it does have that croup sounding barky sound. A lot of conjunctivitis, nasal congestion, loss of appetite. He has pain in his throat. He complains about pain in his head back here. He just seems like he has full-on body aches and does not feel good. He throws himself on the floor and you can see in his eyes, I'll put a picture here what he looked like this morning. This was like after breakfast. We were awake and up and this is how he looked. So he is not doing well. And my husband is so sick. I just got off of a conference call. That's why I'm trying to keep my voice down because he is out there with the kids right now, but I got to go relieve him. I have never seen him this sick. He has all the same symptoms as when we had COVID. He's got a raging fever, like 39-degree fever. Just completely out of this world, not with us on this planet. Just, he's lost in sickness right now. Crazy fatigue, body aches, backache, sore throat, terrible cough, chest pain, pressure. He says he feels like that cement feeling in his lungs, but he can't cough it up. I don't know if that's a COVID symptom. We may just have seasonal flu, or we may just have a case of bronchitis in this household. So I'm not saying, I mean, we got tested because it's time, like, it's just time that we know whether we have it or not. He has never recovered his sense of taste and smell from when we had COVID 10 months ago. So we don't know if he would have lost it again now because he just never got it back. But so it's very odd that my children would get so sick, but they've been just run over by a truck the past couple months. They had chickenpox, RS virus, a couple other colds. We had stomach flu. You know, we've had so many things happen in the past 2 months. So they may just be run down. They're sicker now than they were when we got COVID the first time. And the second time they were asymptomatic. So I don't know if their illness makes me think, oh, we could have COVID. I don't know how Delta presents in kids. But it's odd to me how terribly sick my husband is, especially with the really bad chest pain and cough and the really high fever. And the incubation period kind of works out also. But the third thing that makes me think we might actually have it, I don't know, is the fact that I'm fine. I have a sore throat. I had a couple days of fatigue. That's it. So I do have what they all have, but my case is so mild. And I'm the only one who's gotten my COVID shots. And I got my last vaccine only 5 weeks ago. So I'm like peak strength in my COVID vaccines. I am so susceptible to chest infections in pregnancy. It happens to me every time. Okay. the fact that I don't have it, and I'm the one that gets the sickest out of everyone in my family. So the fact that I'm not sick and I don't have like the chest component of what they're dealing with makes me think that the only things this could be are COVID or the flu. And I only got my flu shot on Friday and it's Monday today, so 4 days ago. In fact, the symptoms I'm having, the sore throat and tiredness, might just be because of the flu shot. I don't know. It's very odd that I'm not sick and that my husband is this sick. And then just the symptoms in general of what everyone is going through. So we'll see. We should have our answer between 1 and 5 business days. So again, we're in a waiting game for test results. We should find out if we have COVID or not by the end of this week. We should hopefully get our NIPT results by the end of this week. And then it's Thanksgiving on Thursday. I have everything all purchased and ready to try to cook. So that'll be fun. Nobody's probably going to eat it because everyone is sick as all hell here. Anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully we have our results this week from the NIPT. I am not coping with the anxiety and the stress. That's the one thing I can say right now for you guys. I have been in tears. I can't sleep. I cry. I'm irritable. This whole past week, it's all I can think about is I don't even care what the outcome is anymore. I just cannot handle waiting anymore. And like, of course, I'm researching obsessively and they're like, oh, if your placenta is not operating well or based on maternal age or whatever, you might not even have gotten a good sample and the fetal fraction could be too low to have even given you any results for the NIPT. And then what? Wait another whole freaking month to get the results? Do I do the amnio? Do I wait for my anatomy scan on December 9th and maybe it will show something a little more indicative? This is what I'm doing all day long, is just scenarios. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope the next clip you guys see in this video is me telling you we've got our results. Let's hope. It's still the same day. It's Monday, November 22nd. It's just a couple hours after I filmed my 17-week pregnancy update. And this is about as live of a reaction as you will get from me because I just hung up the phone about 5 or 10 minutes ago with the hospital. Does anybody else go outside at 17 weeks pregnant in -5-degree weather to pick potatoes to help work through difficult feelings? Or is it just me? I'm in our greenhouse right now because it's a little warmer. I thought I could just film this update and get it over with. Yeah, so I was just in the kitchen. I was gonna go for a walk actually with the dogs. And I saw the phone number pop up on my phone. And one of the most difficult things about this whole wait was I was not sure how I was going to be contacted. Usually if everything is normal, they just send you a letter in the mail. The last time I got a phone call from the hospital was when they called to tell me my original screening was abnormal. So I was hoping that I would just get normal results, hopefully, you know, and it would come in the mail. And just, you know, a single sentence, low risk, everything's fine, you know, carry on. But instead I got the phone call and so I answered, and it was a woman who spoke excellent English, which worried me because I live in the country, you know, like people here, they speak English, but they don't often need to as much as like in the bigger cities like Stockholm. So usually I just speak to them in Swedish because they're not comfortable speaking in English. And when she, when I recognized that she had a very sophisticated mastery of English, that was a little concerning. And then she told me that she was the head baby doctor. So I'm just assuming it was either someone from maternal fetal medicine who called.
not a pediatrician, someone in, because she's from the antenatal mottagningen. And that scared me too, because like, you don't talk to people like that unless there's something wrong. And I told myself I was not going to cry. If they called me, I was just going to be cool as a cucumber and just be like, ah, cool, thanks. Because the bottom line was, the result of this test didn't matter. It doesn't matter. My husband and I talked it through and we're totally fine, you know, either way. It wasn't going to change, like, anything. We're just going to carry on. And then she said that she had the results of my NIPT, and I said, yeah, you know, just lay it on me. Just tell me. And she said everything was normal. And I said I wasn't gonna cry. In my head, I said I was gonna just be cool and be like, ah, awesome, thanks. And I just broke down. And I told her I'm so sorry. It wasn't gonna matter either way, but I'm just so relieved. And she just laughed and she goes, I totally understand, it's fine. And she just kept repeating herself. And I think she did that because she knew I needed to hear it over and over. 13, 18, and 21, they all came back normal. Everything is normal. Everything is healthy. Everything is low risk. And I hate myself because if I had been more mentally prepared and like had thought through the actual scenario of, if they call me, what do I want to ask? I would have really loved to have known what were my HCG level numbers and what was my PAPP-A levels when I took my blood test, because I really wanted to know what those were. What was it in my bloods that claimed that I was high risk and that I screened positive for Downs? But I didn't. I did manage to ask her if the test told me the gender, if it would tell me the gender. And she goes, no. She goes, it only tested for the 3 trisomies. And everything came back normal. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't even care. You know, it doesn't matter. We have our anatomy scan in just a couple weeks, December 9th, and today's the 22nd. So what is that, like 2.5 weeks-ish? But that's it. So that's the end of this saga. So now we are just waiting to know if we have COVID. And then, yeah, and then the anatomy scan in a few weeks. I'm gonna go now because I very badly need to process this information. I have gone from an extreme high to very emotional to this feeling of numbness. I just don't know where I am right now. So that's it for now. Thank you guys for your support, and I look forward to being able to finally publish this and move on with this journey. I guess stick around, because in the next video we'll talk about what kind of illness we have and yeah, and then just what comes next. So anyway, like and subscribe if you'd like. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.